Hello there, spooky folks, and happy last week of October. We are gathered here again for a bit of Poe. Basically, I am reading once again from the Ghostly Tales and Eerie Poems of Edgar Allan Poe, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. There are a couple of other tales of his that I know are pretty popular and that I myself also enjoyed, but I figured for this one, instead of reading another one of his stories, we could enjoy a couple of his poems. The first of these that I will read is The Raven, which is, I think, his most famous poem. And then we will read a poem that is actually one of my favorites, and that is Alone. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance he made, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sad, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me why thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird upon his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore." But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend," I shrieked, upstarting, "get thee back into the tempest and the nice Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Alone. From childhood's hour I have not been as others were. I have not seen as others saw. I could not bring my passions from a common spring. From the same source I have not taken my sorrow. I could not awaken my heart to joy at the same tone. And all I loved alone. Then, in my childhood, in the dawn of a most stormy life, was drawn from every depth of good and ill the mystery which binds me still, from the torrent or the fountain, from the red cliff of the mountain, from the sun that round me rolled in its autumn tint of gold, from the lightning in the sky as it passed me flying by, from the thunder and the storm, and the cloud that took the form, when the rest of heaven was blue, of a demon in my view. So that was a couple of poems by Edgar Allan Poe. I picked The Raven because I know that is his most famous poem. That is the one that people quote. That's the one that's in like a lot of things. Honestly, it's not really one of my favorites. I think it is mostly due to not understanding it. I think it is only until recently that I finally understood it a little bit more. My only experience with it growing up, other than reading it, I think when I was in junior high. Before that, the only thing I knew about it was the reference to it in the movie The Page Master, in the horror section of the library. And that was my least favorite part of that movie because of how scared I was of Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster. But I figured, that's his big one for a reason. So figured I'd read that. And then the second poem I read is called Alone. So there's two reasons why I really enjoy that poem. And one reason is because that something in it just really touched the very kind of angsty emo side of me that existed when I was in junior high and high school. And so I just really enjoyed how kind of a little bit melancholy, I guess, it is. And then the other reason I really liked it is because there was this vampire book called Demon in My View by Amelia Atwater Rhodes, and the title comes from the poem Alone, and the poem is also, I believe I remember correctly, it was in the front of the book. Also, let me know if any of you know what book I'm talking about, because I honestly haven't met that many people that know this author or the books that I'm talking about. So if you do know what I'm talking about, let me know, because that would be exciting to meet other people who have heard about a book that I was like obsessed with when I was a teenager, Demon in My View, and she wrote a bunch of other books as well. I think I've read all of them, but that one was my personal favorite. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you all have enjoyed. This was actually a lot of fun to do. I actually had a lot of fun once I started putting like sounds and things like that into everything. I think it really enhanced that a lot. But I hope you all have enjoyed. If you would like me to do this kind of thing again in the future, let me know, because I think that would be something that would be fun sometimes. Yeah, I might do it again next October, potentially. Either more Poe, or I don't know, maybe I can figure out something. Maybe I'll have to see who else is within the public domain so that I won't get in trouble for reading their works. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween, or Samhain, or let's see, Dia de los Muertos is around then as well. Whatever you happen to celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful time. Bye.